In this video, I'll be giving you adult friendship breakup advice. We're going to talk about the feelings and then some things you can do to heal. If that sounds good to you, keep on watching. First things first, who am I talking about? Who is this person? I'm not talking about someone you met casually at a party and you exchanged social media and you never talked to them again. I'm talking about somebody that you thought would be in your life for your whole life. Someone that you talked about splitting the lottery money with if you were to win, where you would go, how you would spend it. Someone who you were either close to your whole life, or maybe there was a short interval where there was an intense, close, intimate relationship between the two of you. Somebody that you thought would be at your wedding, that person who would cuss people out at your funeral if they saw them crying for reasons they don't understand because they knew y'all weren't that close. Someone that you were so close to that people still to this day ask you how they're doing, and you guys haven't spoken in so long, but you don't want to make it awkward, so you just answer, yeah, they're doing good, even though you have no idea. And what is the relationship like now between you and that person? It doesn't exist. You guys used to be super close, but now you guys don't even talk. Maybe the thought of them calling your phone or a text message coming through would cause anxiety. Maybe just hearing me telling you, oh, they're coming over, or they're coming to the event that you're going to, makes you uncomfortable. You have photos and videos of them in your phone from good times, and it kind of stings to look at them now because you realize, wow, you didn't think those times would end. To the point where you have them on social media, and when you see that they've watched your story, you wonder if they came in to see how you're doing, if they're talking smack, or if it was an accident that they opened it to begin with. It feels painful. It feels like you're happy that they're happy if they are doing well. If they aren't doing well, you feel hesitant. You might still feel like you want to reach out to them to offer support. But at the end of the day, you know that you are no longer part of their circle, support group, tribe. So you'd probably be ignored, you'd probably be disregarded, and feel out of place if you were to try to show up in their life like the person that you used to be, because that is no longer. I know it can be tempting to be kind of prideful about friendship breakups and say, people come into your life for a season or a reason and try to brush it off like it wasn't that big of a deal. But friendship breakups hurt, sometimes more than a romantic relationship. So no matter how it ended, no matter whose fault it was, it still hurts to see and think about and reminisce on what used to be. It feels weird to be living a life that doesn't include them at all. It's one thing if you had a friend and you guys used to be really close and now you're not as close, but to go from close to don't even see each other, have no idea what they have going on, is awkward. I'm speaking from experience. How do you heal from it? If you haven't already, stop reaching out. It doesn't take much to know, especially if you guys were really close, that it's done, it's over, and it's time for you guys to move on. And the more that you try to force yourself into that person's life because you're stuck on how it used to be, the more pain you'll create to heal from. So just stop reaching out to them. Second part is to unfollow them on social media. There's no reason for you to keep being reminded and triggered by seeing this person. Whether they hurt you or you hurt them, it's not healthy to continuously see somebody who's not in your life and be reminded and sucked back into that whole scenario and spiral of emotions. Instagram has a new feature where you can remove someone from your followers list and it doesn't even let that person know. So that's an option. If you don't want to do that, then at least mute them, because muting them would be the baby step because it would prevent you from seeing anything they post. But if you're not going to see anything they post, you might as well unfollow them because it's the same thing. I know on social media, it's like, ooh, this person unfollowed that person. It's beef. It's a problem. No, if they're not in your life anymore, that's the irony. Someone cannot be in your life anymore, but you unfollow them or they unfollow you and you feel some type of way. That doesn't make any sense. If someone's not part of your life, it's kind of weird that you're keeping tabs on them. If you don't fit in a pair of shoes and you still hold on to them, you're a hoarder. So don't be a social media hoarder with people who are no longer in your life. A rule of thumb that I've applied is that if you follow someone on social media who you wouldn't say hi to in real life if you ran into them at the store, you probably shouldn't be following them. Step number 3, stop talking about them and stop talking about what happened between the two of you. It's unhealthy to continuously detail the story, the drama, what happened, especially if it's so long in the past. Even if someone asks you about them, there's no reason for you to tell the whole story of why you guys don't talk anymore. Because number 1, you don't have the whole story, you only have your side. And number 2, it's irrelevant. You can easily say, oh, they're good, or I haven't spoken to them in a while. Cut it short there. You don't have to go into details. Step number 4 is to allow yourself to feel, to go through the emotions that you're experiencing. In the last tip, I said don't talk about it to other people or tell them what happened, because that's gossiping and you don't want to do that to yourself and to the other person. Even though you're not friends, there is a little bit of respect that is expected. Even if they're not returning the favor, even if they're talking all this smack about you, there's no reason for you to do the same thing. Allow yourself time to process and feel all the emotions that come up. Sadness, grief, pain, regret, especially anger, because unexpressed anger turns into resentment, and there's no reason to harbor resentment for someone at all, but especially someone who's no longer in your life. Be honest with yourself and where you're at and how you feel, because it will affect how you show up for yourself and how you show up for your other friends. So if you feel sad, like you miss the person, sit in that, embrace that, and let it pass. It's only when we suppress the feelings that they get in the way of our everyday life. But if you allow yourself to sit in those feelings, it'll take a way shorter amount of time to get through them. Number 5, write a letter to that friend, expressing everything that you never got an opportunity to say, the things that were left unsaid, the questions that you have, the answers to the questions you might think they have. And if you're not a writer, maybe you say it out loud. If you don't like to journal, maybe when you take a shower or when you're driving alone in the car, drive and express yourself. Even if you don't have one designated time to do that, if a thought comes up and you feel triggered, just express what you want to say and how you feel, because getting it out is the main point. Because once it's out, it can't hurt you anymore. You release it, you let it go, and it needs to go somewhere. And I know in the movies, the friends always come back together and there's a whole coming to Jesus moment where they cry and hold each other, but this is real life. And it's okay that something might not have ended the way that you thought it would, because you never thought it would end at all. But that's no reason not to express yourself and to release what you want to say. Create your own closure. That's number 6. We don't always get the opportunity that we want to sit with the person. Sometimes things end so unexpectedly, so abruptly, that you are still confused, maybe months, maybe years later, that it's over. But that doesn't mean that you need closure with that person to move on with your life. Create the closure for yourself. You can meet new people. You can make new friends. You can strengthen relationships that you already have with people in your life to go closer and more intimate in ways that you didn't before. I thought about how I would close this video, maybe give some hope or tie it up with a bow and make it cute, but sometimes the ending is not pretty. Sometimes it doesn't feel good. Sometimes the ending was so bad that every time you think about that relationship, it's completely tainted by how it ended off. But I will say this, do not beat yourself up and shame and guilt yourself about what happened. Just because your friendship with that person ended does not mean that you are incapable of making new friends or being a good friend. It's never too late for either of those things. So feel the emotions, but don't stay there for too long, because I know how you get. If you liked this video, you'll probably like my last video. It was signs of a one-sided friendship. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Here are my TikTok and Instagram handles. Until the next video, I hope you act accordingly. Bye.